I'm here with Stanley Tucci. Thank you for joining us, Stanley.
Thank you for having me.
What's the most important point about the arts that you want to convey during your congressional testimony tomorrow?
That the arts are a necessity and not a luxury to all of us and to society.
Now, I know your father was a high school art teacher for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
How did the importance of art and his job affect your childhood growing up?
Well, you know, you grow up with somebody who goes to work every day, and what they do is they teach generation after generation about art and all kinds of art. He was a visual art teacher, but he taught calligraphy, painting, sculpture, jewelry making, and the kids really looked up to him. And I still have people come up to me today and say, they come up and say, "Are you Stanley Tucci?" And I go, "Yes," you know. And they go, "I love your father." And you go, "Really?" You know, because he had such a positive impact on so many people. If you think about how many people you teach over a 40-year period, it's pretty impressive. And he grew that art department into a very impressive art department. So the number of people that he influenced, whether they became artists or not, was enormous. But also for me, going and watching him teach was a great experience. And then he taught me how to work in all these different mediums. So, we went and lived in Italy for a year, and it profoundly affected my life. There really was no other, I wasn't going to become anything else but somebody who worked in the arts in some way, shape, or form.
And how have you worked in arts? I'll tell you, you work with some of the most celebrated artists of our time, Meryl Streep, Patricia Clarkson, to Woody Allen and Danny Boyle. So I wonder if you could tell us what pulls you toward a particular project, especially since your background is multi-layered from acting and directing and screenwriting.
Well, sometimes it has to do with money. Sometimes you just need a job. And any actor who tells you differently is lying. And it depends on where you are in your career. If you feel that there's a role you really want to play and that comes your way, that's great. You have to be careful. You don't want to repeat yourself too much. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's a certain director that will attract you. Sometimes it's a certain star that will attract you. Sometimes it's a script. And sometimes it's just the piece as a whole. In other words, the cast, the cinematographer, the director. You think, oh, that's a great group of people. Mm-hmm. And I think Edward G. Robinson said, I don't know, I'm probably the wrong person, but you know, it sounds good, doesn't it? I think he said that he did 3 movies a year. One was for the money, one was for the location, and the other was for the art.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice if you can be that choosy. I'd like to get there.
You should steal that answer and just keep it as you.
Yeah, right.
Do you prefer taking an acting role sometimes? This may be based on what you just said, or do you really like guiding a project from start to finish as writer, director, and actor, as you did in Big Night or Blind Date?
I love doing the latter, but it's incredibly hard. I've had projects that have been languishing for up to a decade now, and this is after I've had success as an actor and success as a director. It's very hard to get independent movies made. I don't ever want to stop doing it, but it's oddly enough getting harder than it used to be, and that's unfortunate. Even when you have people attached, like Colin Firth is a friend of mine. People of really well respected, famous people. If the money people feel that the marketplace isn't going to sustain this particular project, doesn't matter who's in it.
Happy 74th Hunger Games. It opens Friday. It's going to be a huge movie, and you play someone larger than life, Caesar Flickerman. Mm-hmm. And I wondered, I know that he's kind of a bad guy, kind of a good guy. He's been doing his job for a while. How did you go about creating that character for the movie? Was it based on the book to script, or did you have real life inspirations?
Well, it's based on the description in the book and the script, which is very clear. Mm-hmm. And then you sort of cull from your life, all the experiences that you've had doing talk shows and different people. And he's really like an amalgam of a whole bunch of people, and then, he's really like a Vegas act, almost as much as a talk show host. So, he's like who are those guys? What are those, who are those guys who do the thing in Vegas with
Siegfried and Roy?
Yes. He's like that huge sort of tan and hair and teeth and all that.